Hello, and welcome to my co-parenting live. I'm so happy that you're here. It's been a while that I've been on, and I'm so excited to be able to share some thoughts with you today. I wanted to just start out with the thought of like we as parents can find tons of stuff to criticize ourselves about, right? Like how you're doing things, whether you're present, whether you're connected enough to your kid, if you have a good life balance. What about your personality that might be troublesome that you're like, please don't mimic that part of me? There's so many things that we can criticize ourselves about as parents. And when there's a situation of divorce or separation, there's even more stuff you can criticize. Because, of course, usually you don't have kids with the idea that you're going to separate, right? You don't have that as your goal when you're creating a family. But it happens. And one of the things I became very, very cued into when I'm working with parents in the situation where they're starting and processing and being thoughtful about how they want to plan their separation is that parents oftentimes during the divorce and separation process, they are not present. It's really hard to be present when you're in grief. It's really hard to be present when you're in fear and not knowing what's going to happen next. So add that to parent criticism or criticism that you have about your parenting style. And there's a whole lot of even having a harder time showing up because now there's the challenge of trying to be present with your current pain. I know this for true is that parents actually get into more pain when their kids are around. They have more flashbacks about their their child's other parent. There's more regret and grief and self-condemnation than they want, and so it becomes impossible sometimes to stay present when your kids are around. So I want you to think for a second about this because this is a really important topic. So we can't be present sometimes because we're in too much pain and overwhelm and guilt. But we need to be present, right? Our kids need us. They need us to listen to them. And it's impossible sometimes to do that. So how do we deal with this situation? One thing I was thinking about is I watch the resiliency of families and I watch the resiliency of children. Even, children, and when I say this, I mean children all the way up to, after college children, the children that you raise, the children that you'll always be the parents to, even if they're adult children. So, and even if they're adult children, they're still going to need you to listen to them, but you might not be able to some of the time. You actually might not be able to. So kids are going to go through a period in some of the divorce and separation on their own. They're going to be left alone to draw their own conclusions about what's happening to you and what's happening to their other parent. And I think we have to be okay with that a little bit. I think we have to know that we can't always be there, just like if you're a working parent and you're not with your kid all the time. You have to be okay with that at times. You have to know that there's a part of them that's there, that's resilient, and that they get a lot more than we think they get. And then you can also use your words, like you probably say that to your kids, like use your words when you can with them. You can tell them that sometimes it's really, really difficult for you to deal with them in a transition, or it's really, really difficult for you at times to be engaged with them, highly engaged with them, because you're also needing more space. You can talk about that with them. And then I love this this thought. I remembered it a lot when I was raising young kids. The thought of like, if you just spend 5 or 10 minutes, like just totally immersed in time with them, in their world, it makes up for a lot. It's like a million years. It creates this connection. Like you got into their world and they saw you do it, and it means a lot. So remember, like, there can be intermittent connections that you make with your kids that can help sustain them. You don't have to guilt yourself about you're not always there every single second of every day, or you might be spacing out because you're grieving, or you're having a flashback, or you're just plain old discombobulated from the experience. It's okay. But when you can, really insert your care, really insert your presence, really let them know that you're aware of when you do that. You might not be aware every time, but that you're generally aware, and try to have those little snippets of time that you connect with them. So those were my thoughts for this week. Is like, are you listening to your kids? How can you? And to be gentle and kind to yourself when you're going through this process. It's going to take a little bit. You're going to learn a lot, and continuing to practice your skill set is key. I'll be speaking to you again soon. Don't hesitate to write some comments below if you have some feedback for me, and check out my website. There's lots of good information on that. And if there's any way that I can help you out, shoot me an email. All right.